Welcome to the Playroom. Welcome to the Playroom, everybody. I'm your host, Flaev Beats. You know how it's going down. Everybody's going live. So, feels good to be back on this podcast. Let's go. Let's do this. Are you guys ready? Oh, it's the same one. Oh, this is about to be a lit podcast episode. Man. It's about to be lit, guys. Hope you guys are gonna enjoy this. Take this all in. You know what I'm saying? So it's about to be really deep. So okay. So now we're recording. Now we're live. Now we're in action. And it's lit. We're about to have an amazing podcast show tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the Playroom. It's about to get lit tonight. And we out here. So everybody will please welcome V-Star.
What's good? What's good?
What's goody? Woo! On your telephone right now, on your speakers, we are live. We're in the Playroom. It's like 9 p.m. So it's about to be a very lit night. How have you been?
Yes.
How have you been? How have you been?
What's goody, Fave? What's goody? Tell me, how you feeling tonight?
I'm good. I can't see your video.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a dark spot right now. My bad.
It's okay. So, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, I think you can say hello in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think she's connected now. Hello.
Oh my God. No way.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
My boo.
Come on, let's hear you. What you doing? You guys don't even know who's in the room.
You got my boo Dia Nueva up in here.
Shout out. Welcome.
Looking beautiful as ever. Thanks, girl. What's going on with you guys?
We good. We out here. Welcome to the Playroom, Dia.
Thanks for having me. I'm here.
I'm loving your room.
Surprise for you, Vania.
Oh my gosh, I'm literally dumbfounded.
I know, it's like a small world, right?
I was not expecting that, but I am so happy right now.
Do you guys know how long it's taken us to do this?
Oh my gosh, the struggle is real, yo.
Yeah, it's been
Right?
real. It's been
But
real.
timing is everything. Everything happens in its own cool timing.
Exactly.
Oh, that's right.
Definitely. Yeah, welcome to the Playroom, guys. This is where we chill. You know, this is like the first podcast late night with Vania, so it's good that, you know, you're in here too. And there's a lot of good stuff happening, a lot of, you know, September fun. You know, it's been a great month. And this is catch-up time, so I really want people to listen closely to both of you, because I'm sure there's a lot of stories that I want to also, you know, hear. Just based on how you guys even met to start with, because I got to meet you through Vania. So,
I know.
you know what I'm saying? So I gotta like really, where's the puzzle?
It's like a real flashback, though.
No, for real.
How long ago? Probably about, I would say like almost 14, 15.
Yeah.
Right?
Almost 14 years.
What?
Yep.
Yeah. We met, we were both like signed in an agency, and I don't even know. I think I might have met your sister first.
Yeah, I think you guys were in a modeling class together, and then I think we ended up crossing paths in one of the vocal coaching sessions, if I'm not mistaken.
Had a couple sessions, couple writing gigs, all these things.
Oh my gosh, for real though.
Go.
Wow.
We were like little teeny boppers.
Okay.
For real.
Yeah, like I think you were what, like maybe 16?
You guys just threw me back to like 3LW. You know, back in the day.
For real, man. Oh my gosh.
Damn.
Yeah, that was so crazy. And then I gotta say, I remember when we went to IPOP
Oh my gosh.
in LA. That was amazing, man. Just such a good experience to, put ourselves out there. And I think you were there for acting, singing, modeling, and were you also there for dancing too?
I was really like trying to do it all, and it was insane because I don't even know how my mom let me, because it was so many categories. Like I remember, like I think everyone else kind of got to enjoy that convention way more than I did, because it was like I didn't even get a minute to enjoy everything I did. I was literally like being pulled from dance to acting, and then going from acting to like vocals, and then going from vocals, and they're like, oh, you need to go get in your heels and everything and then walk, and I'm like, I need a minute to breathe.
Wow.
I need a second to enjoy that I just did that dance choreography that I worked hard on. Like I didn't even get a second to absorb it, so it was so crazy. But I'm definitely grateful for like the chaos, and then just even being in LA, like you said, it was you, me, it was a lot of us. It was like a whole group. And I remember because of that LA trip, I was like, I'm coming back. There was like a mall that was halfway outside. It was like, I have to go back. So I went back. That trip definitely helped like push my career a little bit more, or at least my intensity in my career. So
that's what's up.
Yes, that was such a good experience. Also, I can never forget. I'm so mad we didn't keep the track or the lyrics, but the whole "This is for my haters."
Can't feel like I was talking. Yo, Vanya, I remember it though. That's my
we had bangers back then, Faith. Like we really did, but we were young, and we were working with people who were basically just taking advantage of the fact that we were young and didn't know much about the business and stuff.
That's crazy.
Whew, years later, now we do.
100%. Looking back at that experience, it was like definitely the more dark side of the industry, and like, all the things that are on the warning label of the industry. But I'm kind of glad it happened then and not now.
For real.
Being able to like, I guess, have our parents at that age also as like a cushion was really helpful, versus like, getting scammed at this day in age or at this stage in the game, or like anything like that. So it is kind of just like an eye-opening experience that I'm happy to happen then, because I definitely dodged a couple bullets because of that like skepticism. So it helps,
Thanks.
That's big, because now you also take me back to when like I also started doing groups back then. If you ask anybody in high school my college, they would tell you Favor was always on the stage, either drumming, recording, producing, featuring something. And then it was like something that was a fire desire. And I was like, let me manage a band, man. I want to be like Young Money, you know. I want to have a team, you know. So that was the thrill. And I remember back in 2010 when Drake dropped Thank Me Later, that was when I was like, you know what? At this point, if anybody can do it, anybody can do it. So I was looking at all these people, and on my end, I was building my team. It was working. But of course, like you said, thank God for those things that happened then, because if it happened now, you can't come back from it, you know? So
it's a different ballgame now.
Exactly. So now if you're an OG and you've done all that research and you're like, okay, you can sign a contract if you don't know what it is. You know, some people did, and their careers are, you know, the list is long. So it's just, we should be grateful and thankful that we were able to see other people and ourselves go through it, but go through it and still make it out, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for real, because I don't know, at 15, it's like, it's not that big of a hit to you, you know, because it's like, well, you know, I'm still in school and I'm doing other stuff and blah, 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 you know, but it's like, you know, I'm thinking about, like, even now, like, if I were to really invest, like, in a whole project at 28 years old, and then basically somebody just ran me for my money and my time and my talent, like, damn, that shit would hurt. Like, shit would hurt bad. You know, so I'm definitely glad for those experiences, because that definitely wasn't the only time that it happened. I remember working with several people up north. You know, I mean, I know you remember, Dia, you know, my dad, like, pushing me to go all these places and talking to all these different producers in New York and stuff. And it's like, a lot of them, you know, if my dad wasn't willing to really pay up, then they were just going to use whatever lyrics they could get out of me. So, you know, it's tough out here, but as long as, you know, we don't give up and keep on grinding, you know, it's gonna happen regardless. You know, that belief, that faith in yourself is so key to that success. Like, it's just inevitable. It's gonna happen, you know.
Right. You only gotta be right once.
Sure.
You know?
All your, like, reaction, I think, at this point, like, how you can turn it and either spin it in your favor or just walk past it. Even the industry is, like, as big as it is, it's still so small. Like, you'll circle around the same people, like, maybe a year later or 3 months down the road. So it's just like, you know, it's like a big web that just all connects.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
True.
I mean, look at this right now. Like, I never would have thought, like, my boo from Jersey and my homie, my broski,
hey.
I met him in Florida, and it's like, boom, here we are.
Crazy. I didn't even know you guys met in Florida, and, like, now I'm in Atlanta. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. And it's, if I think about it too, with Vania too, when we met, it was like in and out. We weren't really like friends, if you think about it, because Full Sail was kind of like, if you're not my friend, I'm not talking to you. I get into class, leave. Because people were not really interacting with each other like a society, like a college, like a school. It was more like, I'm here to grind. I'm here to get my work in. I want to get an album out, you know. And, you know, and it's good. The grind was strong. But I could tell there were some people that just had a desire. And then that's when I met Vania. And then we're like, yo, let's do something. She came to my crib one time, did a track. I think it was one take. Yeah, it was one take. And
literally.
I was like, what? And then I didn't touch that track for like 10, 11 months. She didn't ask me about it. I didn't think about it. I didn't care about it. I was just like, when it comes to me, it will come. And then all of a sudden, I was like, I got the lyrics. I recorded it. Then I was like, hey, it's on the that was the last single I dropped before Colorful Sounds 2. And then I told Vanya it's out. That thing hit. My Apple Music went up. I was like, North Carolina, what's up? You know what I'm saying? What it do? You know what I'm saying? That's when I was like, okay, let's see what this album does. And then it came out and I was like, okay, now I want to do a video. Now I want to do some scenes. Now I want to work it. And now I'm dropping this Friday. And it's like, now I have a chance to work with you two, Dia. So Vanya has not heard it yet.
It's so crazy. Like I said, it's a big web and it's all interconnected. It's insanity.
It's facts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited.
You know, we should do a track, all three of us.
No, like that's long overdue.
Literally.
Just Vanya and I on a track is like a long overdue, but with some flavor, okay? Look at that.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
It's lit.
It's lit. That's it.
Sure.
That's the sauce right there.
And what would be dope, now that I'm even thinking about it, would be dope if we do like an EP and you can have like, each of you have your own singles and then have probably two together.
Mm-hmm.
Like a solid body of work.
I actually the track.
Wait, say that again?
now that this is happening, actually,
for real. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have to email it to you when we get off this call.
Liddy.
Yeah, that's gonna be super fire. Oh, I love how this worked out. It's like this track kind of like just it happened. Like it just happened, fell into my lap in a way. Like it was so weird. It's something out of my comfort zone that I wouldn't have like stepped into.
Really?
But I think, yeah, it's definitely a little more.
I didn't know that.
It was like super pop. Like I'm like Spice Girls, Natalie Imbruglia, Michelle Branch, like pop.
Okay.
Okay.
So now this track is like super more like it's just so R&B-ish. A mix between an Aaliyah kind of R&B and like new school Kalani R&B, but it allows me to segue my popness in there. So for your voice being as creamy and like luscious as it is, oh my gosh, it would be like.
Woo! I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about this. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you see talent and feel it, you know.
100%.
No, that's right.
The chemistry too, like the energy is like something that just never dies. It's just transmitted. So it's like when you're in a room with someone, especially a studio, like there's only so many places you can go in a studio, and it's like the energy just has to be right. Otherwise, it just won't work. You'll hear it on the mic in the track.
Exactly. You know,
like, it's so cool when you meet people that you can collab with.
True. You can't collab with everybody.
No, you can't. I mean, you can, but sometimes it's like pulling teeth, and it just makes the process like less enjoyable. Whereas when it's effortless, it's like you have something magical,
Yeah. No doubt.
That's real talk right there, honestly. And I know you remember, Flaev, like at Fusa all the times that they talked about don't be an asshole.
True.
Don't be an asshole, because you never know who in the business is going to be, basically bad-mouthing you, and then who's going to want to work with you if you have a reputation of being an asshole or being bougie or like just not being willing to be a good artist, to go with the flow, to let creativity be king, so I gotta say, Dia, that's on point right there. Like I personally, I've had opportunities to work with certain people here, like locally, but I was like, wait, I'm not gonna work with this person because they over here just being crazy. And it's just like, when you actually try to sit down and work on a track, some people just, they don't know how to act. They gotta be, like basically in outer space all the time. And it's like, bro, I need you to be present right here. Okay, we got a task at hand. Let's focus.
Right.
You want to have fun? We can have fun later, but right now, like, this can be fun, but it has to be productive too. So,
Facts.
Yeah, for real.
I know. It's like completion is a huge part of it. I used to record and like I would do maybe 4 sessions for a song, just to make sure in my head of what my idea of perfection is or finishing is, it's done that way. And then I realized like doing one session doesn't mean it's rushed. It just makes it a little bit more organic. But it's like there are those times where you are in a session with someone who's just like not there, or just so lit that they can't, hear everything that's going on. And they do need that time to like step away, refresh, and come back. But it's like, you can't do that all the time. You don't always have that luxury or the timing or the budget or just even the patience, being that music right now is moving so quickly. Everything is like quickly.
Yeah. Music is like the next channel to your next voice, next audience, next response. Because now you can easily get your audience. Think about Spotify. There's so many artists dropping every day. Every single day. Like sometimes my brother tells me about some songs I've never heard. And I'm like, what? That exists? So it's like, okay, there's competition. It's stiff. Everybody's used to the sound that is circulating. But there's music outside that if we can tap into, people in Australia will be liking our music, and we don't have to worry about people 5 miles away from you. So it's more like, what is your sound like? And it takes a long time to get your sound. And I know definitely both of you know what I mean. So it's like grinding, trying, it doesn't sound right. You put it out, okay, you come back. But the good thing is that when somebody listens to that and listens to you now, they can respect you, appreciate, and really, really like be a fan for real. Because now they can see you started somewhere, you didn't give up. Because some people give up and they're like, yeah, no one's listening. Okay, I got 1 like. And then you delete it. But that deleting is like, you don't care about yourself, that you don't really think somebody out of 7.8 billion people are gonna like it. So it's that rewiring that got me thinking. I'm like, hey, if it sounds right to you, if you can play that back, if you can play that song in the shower, if you can play it when you're way to a party, then that's the sound, that's a vibe. Because somebody somewhere is gonna feel that too. Because you let an energy out, you let an emotion out. If you don't give the song what it needs, it won't feed it back. So that's really what I've tried to realize. Even with this EP, it's more like a sequel too, because I did the first one in 2017, 2016, and now I'm doing it, and I was like, this is the first time I'm doing it by myself, no features. And I was like, this is different. Because before I'd be like, hey, I want a verse. I don't have time to be asking people for verses during this time. I don't know what people are doing, but I was like, if there's a way I can connect the dots in a very subtle way and it still hits home, then the next track you'll be like, oh, so you want those vocals? How do you know? So it's that kind of remembrance. And I realized that whatever sound you take out, it's always going to be remembered. So this podcast, people are going to listen to, they're like, oh, remember, September 21st, 2020, we were trying to talk about this, and then now we're on tour talking about, yo, what's up, fans? It's going to be like a watch party. You know what I'm saying? So this is possible. So we just got to put it out there and let our voices speak out. We all have talents. We all have great sounds that people need to hear. And it just takes one person to like press play, and it's a hit. So I'm excited about this. I don't know how this happened, but this is like,
it's full circle after Full Sail. You see it? You see how that works?
Okay.
You see how that?
Okay. Nice one.
I know that's right.
Yeah. What would you guys want to know about because I'll probably post a question to one of you too, but like I'll start like, what would you guys want to know about my music or journey that you probably haven't had a chance to find out?
I want to know how you got into music, like how, like you even, like was music something that was brought on you as a child? Like, did someone in your family put you on? Was it just something you picked up? Like, that's something I'm curious about, because I always love to know, like, the origin. Like, what does music actually mean to you?
Okay.
Things like that.
Nice. So, for me, like, for the record, my dad is a musician. So, he's done tracks. Like, he does a lot of... He like, his inspiration is from God, and he writes lyrics. So, I've seen him make songs just like that. And I'm like, how do you make a song? Like, people take time to write notes. I was doing some music theory. I hated it. I was like, I don't want to do music. But I was like, something in me was like, just take it in. And then when I was 6 years old, I just went to the drums and I started playing the drums. And I started playing the drums at 6 years old. And they used to like kick me out after church. And I was like, nah. So I kept going back. Eventually, I just started picking the sticks. Then 6 years later, I now went into the studio for the first time. And my dad, if you check my Apple Music or Spotify, the very first album, 2005, scroll all the way back, you will see it. It's called Thank You. I'm there on the drums and I'm playing. I'm like 6 years old and everything. And I was just enjoying music because it was a hobby. I didn't take it as a job. I didn't take it as a stress. I was like, if I want to make lyrics, like the song that I played for you that's gonna drop, that song was made in the studio, because on my way there I did not have the lyrics. I had the melody, I had the idea, but I didn't have the lyrics, and that was bothering me. And I was like, you know what, when I get there it's gonna come out. And it did exactly the way I wanted it to come out. And that's the thing about music. I write, but I don't write to write and speak and say, oh, okay, no, I meant to say, I'm not gonna switch my lyrics. If that's how sometimes I might read the lyrics. When you do like movies, like you're an actor, an actress. In acting, it's all about your expression, right? So if you know the lyric is this, but you can express it better, then you can. So I use that as my pad, and I use an app called Rhymer's Block. It has saved my life. Rhymer's Block. Rhymer's Block. And it shows you all the syllables, how it connects. It has a color coding as you type. It has a whole notepad, and you can be able to like really track what you're saying and how you're doing it. So when I'm writing, I'm feeling something, and then I now said, hey, I want to do music and just build this into something big, because I've always seen myself having a big music label for some reason. I remember when I was a kid, ask anyone in high school, I was like, I want to win a Grammy one day. I want to win a Grammy one day. I didn't know what that meant then, but it felt right because I said it. And I was like, okay, I used to make beats too with like keyboards, floppy disks. I plug them in.
Hey,
what I'm saying? Sequence, old school, sequence them, pop it back, and I was like, okay. Then I transferred that into a CD. So it was fun. It was a hobby for me. It wasn't stress. It was like, okay, new thing. So as drums were hearing, I was always hearing music, and I was always picking up the drums. So anytime I play the drums, if you pick up the microphone, I'm with you the whole way. Even though I've never heard your song before, let's go. It's karaoke time, So that's how I did it. And music is just in me. So I built it, and I was like, I really want to start doing stuff. So lyrics wise, I didn't really know what to say then. I was just saying a lot of stuff. I listen to my old lyrics, I'm like, wow, really? But I think about it now, and I'm like, it's good I did that, so I can laugh at myself and be like, yeah, now I know how to really articulate. But one thing I know for sure that I got on lockdown was the flow. So when I got my flow, because I played the drums, I started counting beats and bars in my lyrics. So I started now taking them like pauses, dynamics, all that stuff, the science of it. That's when I was like, okay, because if I play to that, that's hello, so how do I put that in a song and pitch it so that it fits right? So those were the things I was using to just give myself some leverage. And then I listened to a lot of Timbaland. Timbaland is one of my top, Swiss Beats, what I'm saying, Pharrell. the OGs, you know what I'm saying? Rick Rubin,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So Dr. Dre, can't forget Dre, so it's those things you listen to and you're like, damn, these guys are doing things big. So that was my motivation. And then I started pushing, then I came here and I'm like, now I want to do music for real, So started meeting up with different people. Even before coming here, I worked at a radio station. So this whole podcast thing started like way back. People were like, oh, you have a voice, you should do late night shows, Dr. Phil. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. Like, where am I going to do that? But back then there was no podcast, so I didn't really have that medium, but I had a message. So I put in a song. So now I can put it both on a podcast and on a, piece of paper. So that's how I've built my music till now. And now with this whole new sound, it's something people have not really heard from me before. So I don't know.
I'm excited for it. It's a really cool new sound. I was like, oh, I'm feeling this vibe. I could see it in like soundtracks. I could see it on, series, and then I can just hear it on the radio.
Thank you.
At the bar, like a bunch of things. Like, it's super different. It's super cool.
Appreciate it, for real.
Super.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's why I want to put us on, all of us have this genius talent, and that's the motivation. If I didn't meet you, Vania, there would not be any track in that list, to fill that gap, so everything has to make sense, because even when you build albums, it's a sequence. You want to feel some type of way. Like when you hear this project, even though you've heard the tracks separately, from top to bottom, it gives a different feel. So yeah, let me just leave it at that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I want to know the same thing about you too. What brought you to music? Because I know you told me about back in the day how it started, but what was that fire desire that really set off for both of you?
Vania, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Ladies first, anybody can go.
I mean, you can go ahead, boo.
Well, no, for me it was more like I honestly couldn't tell you exactly what it was. My parents, I'm Jamaican, which is like Jamaican and American. So, being a 90s baby, there was like a lot of American movies that I missed out on because my parents were foreigners, so they kind of were a little bit skeptical to the culture here. But a lot of the music they played was either Bob Marley and certain reggae, or like classics and Whitney Houston and Celine Dion. So that's what I grew up on. But there would be like certain songs that they would play, and I remember stopping as a kid, like, wait, what is that? Like, what is that sound? And it would be certain keys that it was in, or like certain instruments that I would hear. Like a lot of string instruments would make like the hair on my neck stand up. And I remember being a child and being like, yo, why do I not want to play with my Barbies right now? And why do I want to go over here, stand next to this stereo and just be like, why? I could never figure out what it was. And so I started taking piano lessons because my older sister played, but I was able to like play by ear. So any of the songs I heard that I really liked, I would just go over to the piano and start figuring it out. And for me, it just became a language. It literally became a language. I couldn't say I'm sorry as a kid. Like, that was a hard thing for me as a kid, but I could write you a poem saying I'm sorry. And I could write you a song. It wouldn't be the best handwriting, but I could do that, and slide it under your door and leave it there, and then recite it to you like a poem. But I could not just like, as a kid, be like, yeah, I did that, I broke that, I'm so sorry. No, I'd be like, broke that vase, sorry you're in pain. Like, I remember doing that as either a rap or singing. Like,
oh my gosh.
It's just, that's like a simple action as a human that I couldn't do, but music allowed me to do it. So I realized like that was my comfort spot. And you get nervous sometimes before you perform, but like when I'm performing, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I may get nervous before I walk into the studio, but as soon as I get there, I'm good. It's so weird. So once I learned, like, that was my comfort spot, I was like, oh, this is my baby right here. I'm not leaving this. This is my bread and butter and my milk and cookies, and I'm not leaving this. So that was it for me. But nobody, other than my mom, like, she sang in the church, and that was about it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my little love language.
That means music is in you.
That's so dope.
That's
so
dope.
dope.
What about you, Vanya?
I mean, music has always been a thing, like, in my family. I have a lot of musicians in my family, like, that actually played, like, in Puerto Rico. Even my dad used to play the congas in clubs, like, in Puerto Rico, in New York, in New Jersey, and even over here in North Carolina when I was, like, really, really young. He played in salsa clubs and stuff. And I was inked at a radio station in Puerto Rico before he joined the Marines. And, like, a lot of people on my mom's side, like, they play the guiro. I don't know how to say that in English, but they play the guiro. They play a lot of percussion, congas, drums. I have a couple of singers in my family too, but none of them pursued music, like, professionally. None of them did. They all ended up, like, you know, settling, which their professions are all very important. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of them decided to become teachers, which right now more than ever, oh my gosh, we need teachers. You know, or like college professors, or you know, they just got into other fields, ministry, like in the church and stuff. But ever since I was little, like, I don't know, like, I was just so fascinated with singing, and, like, you know, similar to what you said, Dia, like, I would watch Whitney Houston on TV, and my thing was, I taught myself how to sing, just copying, you know, the way that certain artists sang. Like, I specifically remember Whitney Houston, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears. I used to listen to certain Spanish artists too, Jerry Rivera, Elvis Crespo, La India, Mark Anthony, you know, all these different artists. But you know, it was a very heavy influence of, like, hip hop and salsa in my house growing up. And you know, like, my parents, when I was really, really young, they used to go to a lot of their friends' parties and stuff, and then eventually they got a little bit more into the church and just kind of, like, stepped away from that. But I always wanted to sing. Like, I always wanted to sing. And then in middle school, I started writing. You know, I kind of had a little bit of a rough childhood. Went through some things that I kept hidden, you know, mostly because my parents, I could see how my parents really valued their reputation, like, not only, like, just in the community in general, but really, like, in church. And so, like, I stayed quiet when certain things happened to me that were not okay, you know, and I just didn't have an outlet. I didn't know how to let it out. And then I started writing poetry in middle school, and I remember writing pages and pages and pages, I mean, of, like, heartbreak. And, like, you know, I remember people asking me, like, dang, girl, what you been through? Like, you know, and I was so afraid to, like, you know, really open up and tell my story. You know, and then when I moved to Jersey, you know, and I met you, Dia, you know, we went to, what's his name? Did you ever go to Ralph's house with me, or was it Kwan's house?
I feel like both of them sound so familiar. Kwan, I don't remember. I do know we did go, I think we went to one of them. It might have been Kwan.
Yeah, I think it was Taquan's house. Like, I remember, you know, us going over there. It was crazy. Like, even before, like, when I met Taquan, he was going to this guy's house, this guy named Ralph, and crazy how I met Ralph, because I had just moved to New Jersey from North Carolina. I didn't know a soul out there. And I remember it was such a culture shock to me, you know, growing up in the South and then going up north. And, you know, I'm wearing Fat Farm shoes and apple bottom jeans. And, like, I got my hair in cornrows. And I'm, like, moving to Morris County, New Jersey, where, like, most people wearing Sperry's and, like, polos and driving Audis and, you know, Beamers and shit. And I'm just, like, so out of place. Feeling like I was some little ratchet little girl. But I remember this guy, I don't even know how he got my number, but he randomly called me one day and was like, hey, you the new girl in school, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I heard you sing. My foster dad, he has a studio. You know, I told him that you sing and stuff, and we're looking for a female, you know, you trying to come. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what? Like, where did this come from? So I remember telling my dad, and my dad was like, who? And I'm like, I don't know, but Dad, please, can I go? Can I go? And I literally remember walking into this house, and it was like 8 dudes and me. Little 15-year-old me, walking up in there, scared as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, and I remember Brock talking about all right, play a beat, let's go. And I'm like, huh? You want me to freestyle? I'm like, I don't freestyle. I'll write you some right now. Nah, freestyle. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I tried, and he was like, okay, just sing a song that you know. And I remember singing that song, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna definitely work with you. And I just remember sitting with him, like, after school, certain days, like, for 2-3 hours, and him, like, telling me, like, you got 30 minutes to come up with a hook. I'm gonna be right back. And it was, like, military style. Like, he literally was one of the few, him and Quan actually got me to go from writing poetry to actually writing it in song form. So that was at 15. And then, you know, I remember us working on Haters and all that stuff with Becca and stuff. And then from there, I remember going to CCM and at the county college, like, you know, meeting some other people that did music and, you know, like doing a few gigs here and there in North Jersey. But you know, then I lost my focus and I was just kind of like, whatever. You know, just getting in trouble. And I remember feeling like I had to come home. And so I left Jersey after, like, working on all these songs and stuff. I literally just stepped away from music and moved back home and literally, like, went through a whole transformation. And I had a lot of lessons to learn along the way. And then after learning all those lessons, it's like I felt like I had lost myself. Because I had not worked on music for like over 5 years, and I was so depressed. And I just remember like having the opportunity to go to Full Sail, and I was like, you know what do I have? What is holding me back here in North Carolina? Nothing. Like, I don't have anything here right now. Like, I might as well just go. And so I took that leap of faith, and, you know, that's when I met you, Flaev. You know, I was like, you know, finding myself again through my music, and I finally learned how to, like, share my story in those songs, you know. And I'm still, like, little by little learning how to share my story through music, because for me, music is not just a passion, it's my calling. Like, I literally, like, without music and without God, like, I have no reason to be here. Like, if I didn't have music and I didn't have God, like, I would have been off myself. Like, I'm keeping it all the way hot with y'all. Like, I would have been off to myself. But, you know, God has kept me here. And, you know, even though I've been through some really crazy shit in my life, I feel like that's the reason why He, you know, planted that seed, that gift in me of song. You know, that's why I consider myself, like, if you look at my social media, you know, I consider myself a music storyteller, a multicultural activist, because, you know, I really do feel like I've been beat down over and over again to be a voice for the voiceless. You know, like, I've been through things that a lot of people on the street been through. The only difference is that I got parents that were fortunate enough to make enough money to help me out, you know, to help me through certain things where other people don't have that blessing. And, you know, I feel like just with everything that's going on this year, I'm like, bruh, like, the way I love music, like, it's time to just let it out, you know, to do something with it, you know, like, why waste this gift? You know, and a lot of people are like, well, you know, you got to do it a certain way, or you got to put out stuff that's popping, you know, whatever people want to hear. And I'm like, I mean, you got a point, to a certain extent, but at the same time, I'm like, bruh, like, everybody has a love for music for a different reason, you know, and we all have our own flair, our own style, our own story to tell. So it's like, you know, I think it's so awesome how we all have very, very different stories, but like, I feel like our styles mesh so well, you know. It's awesome.
That's a deep one. Yeah.
Vanya's deep.
Okay.
Yeah. I
don't know how to not be deep.
I love it.
That's what
like
I'm talking about.
Rawness and authenticity, like,
yeah.
And it just always brings just meaning. It's just so much meaning. I love it.
For real, man.
Don't change, girl. Other than just keep getting better at that.
For real. Better.
Tell your story because it needs to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
You too, girl. Shoot.
Girl, right here with you. Right here with you.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think music is going to be like next year?
Like music, the whole industry?
Yeah, just think about the game.
I just hope it doesn't get faster.
It's about to.
Because, you know, it's like I want to enjoy it.
Exactly.
It's moving so fast. There's certain things I'm not enjoying anymore. And I'm like, what's happening? Like, why? Everything is so fast. It's like the TV that comes on the shelves and then does it and then leaves nowadays. Like, I don't understand where it's all going and where's everyone in a rush to?
That's what I'm saying.
It's flooded now.
I'm on island time, man. Like, where are we all going to? I don't get it.
She said island time. That's clutch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, take a chill pill. You know? That's true, though. Because you think about the music and you think about the quality, and it's not the same. People used to take their time to drop albums, like records, you know, plaques. So we still got those things because we still got people that stand for that. You know, the Kendricks, J. Cole's, Big Sean's, number one right now, Kendricks, Lil Wayne's, Drake's, Nicki's. You know, we still got them. And if we look at the way some people are taking their own music too, it's coming that way too. Because if you notice, every decade there's a new sound. Like 2010 was that Drake, Nicki Minaj vibe. Then there was that pop sound. Came into that, you know, MMG, you know, everybody was doing something. It was that kind of like rawness. Then think about 2020 now, and we're thinking about all these sounds, and it's all eerie vibes. It's synths. It's new vibes. And when you listen to music, you think that people also use their voices as instruments now. So that's the beauty of it. But not everyone can tap into it. But when you do, it's crazy. I was listening to one of this, it was on genius.com, and they were talking about Roddy Ricch. I think he's a really good vocal. I can't remember his name, but he's a vocal trainer, and he was talking about how even Roddy, like his pitch, the way he does it is that even though he does it in a certain type of way, he goes an octave higher. So that pitch blend, those two variables, the dynamics, that's what music is all about. You can't be flat the whole way. So it's those kind of surprises. You're like, how did you hit that? You know? So those things keep music alive when there's context to it. And I think we got it because we have a story. And think about the number of people that can't say their story because they can't put it in a song. Just think about you now reverse. Just think about that. So it's like we can now speak for them because we have a voice to share. And because we can do it so well now, it's more like, okay, we have a responsibility.
Yeah, totally. Plus, it's like we're so fortunate enough to have all this training and to like have natural raw talent as well, and just even the time to develop it. It's like, why wouldn't we, put it out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So next year's music is gonna be real competitive. It's gonna be real big. But I think the ones who make good music are really gonna stand out. This is now when you're really gonna know who's who, if that makes sense, because
the quality,
yeah,
persevere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I think it's definitely gonna be explosive next year. Like, I just feel like everybody's gonna be like, bing, 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 bing. Like, hopefully it doesn't get overwhelming. Like, damn, I don't know what to listen to today because there's so much new shit.
A.G.E.
Whose concert do I go to? Like,
what?
Everybody's having their concerts.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be like bananas. It's gonna be both virtual, physical. It's gonna be like rotation. It is. Damn. Or just imagine being on tour or being in a stadium and then there's a Zoom party going to, or there's a live streaming going on, so you have more in audience. Man,
it's like the Teletubbies. Like, we're gonna be walking around with onesies on that have screens talking to us. You're gonna be like, yeah, that's my bro.
Yo. For real. Damn, that's a good one.
It's gonna get real, man. I'm serious.
And the craziest part about social media, just based on the branding perspective, I've realized that every social media platform is going to take about 1200% in video content. So if the more creative you are, the more chances you're being seen, the better your sound is going to be out there. So more people are going to be creative with their videos, and that's one thing I haven't tapped into. All the songs I have, if I had videos for each album, I don't know where I'd be today. But I think I was just like, nah, videos, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to take it, because I also like script write videos, I direct them, so when I make my music, I know this is what I'm seeing in my head. So if I can feel it, then this is how I'm gonna interpret it. If I can't do it now, I won't do it at all. And that's how it's been. And now it's like, oh, now I gotta sequence, and now people can plug in, and yeah, and I definitely can't wait to see you guys on like a set, on tour. That's what I see. And I keep saying this thing is because I'm speaking them into existence. One, it sounds scary, but it's the truth, So amen. So this playroom has been real lit. I can't wait to hear more, and we should do this more often, and when we get a chance to, because at some point we're going to be talking about our music and going deeper, and other topics too, because I'm sure people want to know more about us and not just our music, so this is where the connection taps in, and then you really find your fans and true people connection.
Yes, I'm super excited, and I'm so happy, babe. I didn't know this was the surprise. I know. I haven't seen you, boo, in so long. Like, just like seeing your face, like aside from social media, like it's so refreshing. I'm like, yes.
It's crazy. How many times, like, I think when I met you, like the season when I met you too, like I'd seen you so often, especially because we were working together too. And then like to just go to not seeing you. And it was crazy when I moved down here. I was like, I'm 2 states away from her. Like, that's insane. I said I'm closer to her than I've been in a long time. I have to reach out. And it was just so crazy that I reached out to you recently, and then Flaev actually reached out to me on Instagram, and it was like so random. I was just like, this is God's plan, and I'm just gonna sit here and be quiet. That's it. I'm gonna sit here and be quiet because it's just insanity how it all kind of just like fell together. So, thanks for letting me be part of it tonight, and I'm so happy you got to be on for the surprise.
Yeah.
Because this surprise was in the works for a while.
This was worth it. This night is it had to happen. I didn't know when, because it was supposed to be yesterday, then Friday, then last week. Yeah, you guys.
Timing is just perfection because it all unraveled how it was supposed to.
Exactly.
Literally.
That's why I don't force anything. You can't force nature. Just do your part.
Nature.
Yep.
Yeah, guys. So this has been a good one. The playroom is gonna get hotter. We're gonna have some crazy topics, some amazing, information. Just catch up, because some people really need to understand that. Yeah, we can speak out. we can really say some things, and then from there you can pick up from those notes, because some people just need to know that, hey, if you got a voice, if you're trying to be like, nobody's gonna care about my music, somebody will. And when they do, you're gonna have so much confidence in yourself that you'll be like, damn, I wish I did this earlier. So it's never too late though. It's never too late.
I believe it. It's never too late. Can't give up. Gotta keep going. As long as we breathing.
Ain't no reason to give up.
That's it.
Facts. Yep. Yeah, guys. What are y'all about to do this week before we go? Is anything in the works for y'all?
I got a couple sessions, a couple collabs actually, since I'm just getting my feet wet in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, new studios. I think I'm gonna go to the Spotify studio out here on Thursday.
Woo, woo, woo.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Super excited.
Hey.
What about you guys?
Whew. I'm working my day job, 8 to 6.
Get that bread.
Stack it up.
Paying this mortgage and taking care of my 2 fur babies. But also, definitely this weekend, I do plan on spending some time in nature. That's usually where I find the most inspiration. And, just kind of getting some writing out and trying to figure out, what direction I want to take my music in, because I have been kind of wavering between, I guess, 2 different personas for my brand, and I don't know. I know I gotta decide eventually, at least to start. I can always evolve, but I definitely gotta make sure that my brand is A1. And for those who don't know, y'all better check out Flaev's courses, because he know what he talking about when it comes to branding, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to your artistry. So you already know, here at We Don't Play when it comes to the business, but then after hours we do a little play.
You know what I'm saying? That's why it's called work and play. You gotta do both. You gotta balance the curve. So if you don't, you're gonna burn out.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the whole motto. Yeah. So definitely this week, I have another week round. Somebody just told me, just try and do like a live training on email marketing. Like, let me see what people really do. And to my shock, I was like, people actually have questions. So I was like, all right, bet. Let me show you guys how I did this and this. And God is good. So it's just a lot of connections and putting the puzzle together. And then, of course, using that too for the music. So I did it for an artist. Shout out to JP. And this week too, we actually I was on a call with him, and I told him, yo, I gotta be on a podcast in a bit. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. So he's in Houston. So we're just, vibing. He's doing well, and he had an amazing release party, and he was like, yo, Favor, I know we've been friends, but we've never had a chance to work together because I've known him since back in '08, like kids. And he was like, I know the family and everything, and we cool. So, and I lived in Houston too, so it's like, yeah, that's squad, So I was like, let me see what we can do. And he was like, yo, Favor, I believe in you. Let's do it. So I said, yo, this is what we got to do. Let's start like this. The thing went up. My phone blew up that day when he dropped, and I was like, oh, that's what happened. So it's not only me. Okay, this thing works. So email, pushing marketing, and now, especially now that you talked about the courses, I'm going to tell y'all now that there's going to be a Spanish edition. So you guys better get your Latina, your lingo. You guys got to get that going. You know what I'm saying? So it's about to be lit, And another thing I want to really bring out is like the entertainment side of it, like how to sing, how to put things together, because people are asking, how do you sign a contract you don't know? Do you need a manager? How do you get on Apple Music? I used to ask those questions. I used to be like, how do you get on Apple Music? I didn't know the answer. Nobody would tell me, but now I'm like, so this is what happened. So it's like a curve. And now, look, at the end of this week, new music is dropping. I've not announced it. If you heard it on my podcast or email, that's the only place you're probably going to hear it till it drops. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Videos are going to be coming soon too, because I'm definitely, both of us, we are going to be on some screens. Like you said, Teletubbies, they're going to see some.
I'm telling you. We're going to see your face on someone's bodysuit, like a Teletubby. It's just going to drop, boom.
That's Times Square right there. Oh, man, y'all are the best, though.
Oh my gosh.
Classic. Oh, damn.
Oh man.
But it was really nice catching up with y'all. This was a good surprise. Thank you for tuning in. I was trying to, when you do like surprise parties and you have to check if everybody's okay, like 30 minutes to time. I was like, yo, nobody's picking up the phone.
I know. I literally, right before you called me, I just put my phone on the charger, and I was like, yo, I can't take it off to answer right now. I was like, I'll call you in 2 minutes, because if I pick up, it will probably die on the charger. It was like on 1%. I was like, oh, man.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
It's all good, though. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the night. We have another day to catch. It's been a late night show, and very soon, we could probably bring on this, and because there's a podcast premium version too, if you guys didn't know, and that's where it really gets hot. So it's another side of the curve, but for now, we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it popping, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. The week is starting strong, and I think this is a good way to kick it off.
Hell yeah. I hope y'all do too, man. It gets a little hard in these streets, but we just gotta keep going. Keep going and just keep that faith up.
Stay prayed up. For real.
For having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming to the playroom today.
Of course.
Yes. Definitely not the first time, because I'll be excited to see you again.
Yes. For real.
This is where we make things happen.
You already know.
Facts. All right, guys.
Till next time.
Peace out.
Peace out. Let me stop recording. Boom.